Hi. So now that we have covered the first two steps of a release plan, let's talk about the next two steps, that is content creation and distribution. So content creation and distribution can be understood by first understanding what is content, why is it important, and then how and why distribution can be done. So why is content important? Because now finally all the thoughts, all the initial research, all the planning that you had done culminates into messaging and positioning of your product. So all the research that you did about your users, understanding the pain points that they have, understanding the way you can solve their pain point and so on, needs to be articulated and needs to be conveyed in a manner that they can understand in that snap second of attention that they are going to give to you. Typically, customers and consumers are increasingly becoming attention deficit, and that is why having a very clearly articulated content, a title, an image, a message becomes really, really important to convey what you do. This content is also an integral component of your marketing channels, that is social media, whether it's email, whether it's search engine optimization, whether digital marketing of any kind, and hence clearly thinking about your content is very, very important. So how do you create good content? Well, you will create teasers on social media platforms to engage your audience. You will create some sort of a landing page which talks about or gives us a teaser or gives the user uh, um, a sneak peek of what you're doing, and in a way to increasingly attract them, increasingly um, uh, tease them or incentivize them to join your platform as early as possible. You can create intriguing infographics, you can create videos, you can create all sort of different activities, and no way these 6 points are uh, comprehensive enough, but you will do whatever is required to essentially get some sort of interest in the early days. And that messaging, the only important thing here is the messaging and the content should be consistent. When I say consistent, it should be consistent in few ways. Number one, the emotion it evokes should be the same. If you are a premium royal company, then you should keep the words, and the words that you're using, the message that you're putting it together should be royal, should be upbeat, should be premium. The tonality should be uh, of luxury, of laid back, and not of some casual fun. So the tonality matters, the kind of words that are used matters, the length of the sentences and the words also matter. And these are very detailed issues, and these details actually make or break your product a lot of times. Let's look at this teaser, which is of Samsung S9 and S9 Plus, the phone reimagined, right? Just looking at this feature, and if you look at the two very smartly placed images, one of a flower and the other of a pie chart, immediately talks about or evokes the feeling that okay, this phone is great for office work, this phone is great for leisure work. So it's best of both worlds, right? It's just this teaser that was launched for S9, S9 Plus. Similarly, there are other infographics which Samsung has done in the past. So quick note on S Pen, entertainment sneak preview, camera in a snap. That's the only thing that I am reading, but that itself gives me a decent idea about what this infographic is all about, and then I can dive in, right? And this helps in creating awareness and educating them about the new product. Now, it's worthwhile to actually just look back and imagine, look back at the product life cycle. That in the very early stage, the first block of people are innovators, people who are little more risk averse. Sorry, they are much more risk friendly. They are okay with experimenting with buggy products or new products, and they actually spend more time in understanding infographics. And these are the people who will then, once they like the product, if they approve of the product, they're going to make sure that all the people around them know about this product as well. So you may or may not have to create awareness about your product for these influencers. And in those contexts, creating infographics, creating videos, creating any kind of doing offline sessions, doing offline seminars, all of this becomes important. This is another example of user created. Look at how smartly iPhone demonstrated that, hey, iPhone users are clicking great pictures, and they started placing them at all sort of massive places. This became such an important way to incentivize the customers, because customers would love to see their name on big giant billboards, right? This is an amazing campaign to showcase the efficiency and the awesomeness of the iPhone camera. Whether technically iPhone camera is the best or not, that's a different problem, but it definitely is the most iconic camera or the iconic photos that they have launched. And such a simple messaging. Then comes explainer videos. Now, infographics are static, and they do require a lot of cognitive load to understand every single thing, because you have to process it all together. And in such scenarios, using explainer videos at times really helps, because a person might be passively glancing through your website, or is not in no mood to actually understand your product really well. And if you use an animated explainer video or a whiteboard or a Kickstarter kind of a explainer video, it'll be much easier for you to for the customer or for the user to passively consume your product, or passively consume your video or your message. Infographic videos, explainer videos have been all around, and analyzing the by analyzing the length of your video, combined with when were people dropping off in the video, will help you actually in understanding um, that which features or what aspect of the product are people liking. In the video itself, you should be able to see the analytics, and you should be able to identify which seconds or which portions have seen massive uptake, and where are the people dropping off, and that should give you good insight about your explainer video or a teaser video itself, so that you can improve upon your product. Then come influencers. Influencers become really important, especially in products which have a lot of tech involved, or a lot of awareness that is required, or they're expensive, right? So uh, influencers enjoy their position to be the subject matter experts in their respective fields, and they love talking about new products. So if you look at mobile phone um, So if you look at mobile phone reviewers on YouTube, there are a whole bunch of them. There are a whole bunch of them who would love to give sneak previews, who would love to give the first review of any new product that comes in, because they would want to see their followers. They would want to be seen as the influencer in front of their followers, that they are the first one who get all this news, who get this neat little. um sneak previews before anybody else. And if you're able to capture these influencers, you should be able to gather a lot of innovators, because innovators would be following these influencers to get their dose of information. Now there are platforms, a lot of platforms which allow you to directly connect with your influencers, or directly connect with influencers, or hire a bunch of influencers to do specific campaigns. Most of the influencers are very honest, because in this field it's a small world, right? So it's very easy to actually lose your reputation, and reputation is what will make these influencers make more money and gain more and more status. And that is why they will be very honest, and they'll be very objective about your product most of the time. So do not try to bribe them, do not try to ask them to write fake reviews. Um, some of them are there who would do that for you, but try to avoid it if possible. Once you have done all of these aspects, once you have done all of this, you have created infographics, you have created influencer networks, you have created explainer videos, you have created a nice teaser video or teaser image or teaser visual. All of that is great, but all of this content that you generated will be negated if it does not reach the correct audience. So distribution channels for content delivery becomes very, very important. And you need to constantly think of distribution first. In fact, I prefer to you think of distribution first, and then I start thinking of content for those distribution channels, because distribution in my mind is directly linked with the customers or the users who who belong to that distribution network. Is the distribution happening for us niche teenagers, or is it happening for business professionals? So who is my target audience? And from there, I'll start looking at what is the distribution channel. Is it social media? Is it offline media? Is it a billboard? Is it so you have to think about where your audience lies and what is the best message to reach out to them, whether it's going to be a billboard, whether it's going to be a regular social media approach. What is the distribution channel that works best for the audience that you're trying to reach out to? And that will in a way directly connect you with what is the best way to what's the best message and the vehicle for that message on that distribution channel. So for example, Google Chrome wanted to introduce their browser to a diverse audience. But to do this, there were hurdles. They wanted to launch in Thailand, for instance. There were hurdles because in a diverse audience, it is very important to align your strategy with the cultural preferences. A lot of times, that is the best way to resonate with your audience. So, when Google carried out a research to understand its customers, they realized that the people of Thailand enjoy the tradition of classic storytelling. So, this is what Google did to distribute their product content. Google chose to tell the story of Ramakeen, which is an epic and a classic, and derives from the story of Ramayana. The idea was to use the storytelling to display the features of Google Chrome. This mechanism helped users understand Google Chrome's feature in a much better way. Cultural context. Using cultural context in conveying your messaging is a proven method and has been used by almost every single massive big company and some of the smarter, gritty entrepreneurs. So my recommendation is that whenever you're launching a new product, make sure that you are talking about the right distribution audience, distribution channel, the audience that you expect from that distribution channel, and what's the best message plus the vehicle of that message. So, for example, if you want to reach out to Indian urban professionals, uh, it's culturally known that there is no concept of, or there is very little concept of water cooler talk, but most people will end up at a tea shop or a cigarette shop where they will smoke for some time, take a break, and then they will come back. So some startups actually came up to capitalize on this opportunity, and they started designing or tea cups on which they can create ads, and they started selling this ad space to big brands. So when the urban professionals are taking a break, they can and sipping their tea, they can read the message that is written in the on the teacup. Now that's an interesting approach as well. So the vehicle is completely different, and you need to come up with a new idea as to what's the best content that will resonate in that tea drinking session. So this entire content creation and distribution cycle is limited only by your imagination, to be very honest. So be creative, come up with interesting ideas, things that will people will resonate with, and things people will remember, that can make or break your product. That's it for now. Thank you.